Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Noah Unleashed. I am Melball Collins, your hostess with sort of the mostest. Here again for another episode of Noah. I am so excited. This show had three. Guys, three GHC championship matches plus a 20th anniversary match. But before we get into all that amazing stuff, I need you guys to give this video a like, subscribe to our local establishment, check out their social links all in the description box below. But man, okay, guys, let's get into it. We are talking about the Pro Wrestling Noah show today, Sunny Voyage. I was so excited for this show when I saw the first announcement, which was Yohei taking on Junta Miyawaki for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. But man, it got so much better. So without further ado, you guys, let's just get right on into it. Match number one. Let's get my notes up here because man, this was a doozy. We had an opening match, six-man tag team match, which featured the team of Masa Kitamiya, Asuka, and Shuhei Taniguchi, taking on the team of Eita, Shuji Kondo, and Black Menso-re. Now, Black Menso-re has become one of those characters that I both love, but sometimes I'm like, yo, you're Yano. He wears this funny little mask. He's got the little snake on the head. He's always coming out, za, za, za. It's just, it's starting to not work for him though, and let's talk about maybe why. Um, Something I noted at the beginning here, Ada has been in a very, very odd state of mind since losing the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship to Yohei. It's kind of been moody broody. Usually, moody broody in professional wrestling leads to championship, but right, kind of looks like Ada's just kind of he's just kind of there and doing stuff. He's not by any means fading into the background like some people do, but we're seeing a new attitude, a new a new Eita, if you will. So Menso-re very, very adamant that he wanted to start this match, but not staying in for long, zawing his way out to a tag. Um, so Kondo and Kitamiya get into a battle of the powerhouse, and man, it was phenomenal. These two guys were just slamming into each other, shoulder blocks, strikes. Kitamiya eventually coming out on top there with a wicked shoulder block. Eita and Amaska in to kind of kick it up into the high speed junior division style. These guys start flying around with that attitude that Eita has. I'm talking about. Um, Usually rather playful, not so playful with Amaska. Amaska is usually a very serious wrestler, but he's doing his things. And when Eita would catch him, he was angry. He was hitting his PKs really stiff. He was kind of like, "Meh." It's a very interesting route that they're taking with Eita. So Menso-re was begging for a tag to get in, and he gets it, but a lot of reluctance from Eita. He was trying to like tag out to the Za. Eita was just like, "What are you doing, man?" He eventually did let him in. Maybe rethought his life choice after though, because he goes up to do the rope walk, like the Undertaker style rope walk, but Amaska is able to kick the rope out from underneath him. But Eita was in the way. He didn't want to move for Menso-re to do the rope walk. Again, very, very interesting attitude that we're seeing. There's one point where Menso-re, Eita, and Kondo are playing a game of Whack-A-Maska or not whack-a-maska, where they're just trying to hit him and it's just not working. Amaska, sorry, I was going to say Ada. Amaska keeps ducking, and poor Menso-re keeps just chopping the hell out of his own partners. Doesn't go very, very well for him. So he calls in Kondo and Eita, who do a double wishbone drop kick to Amaska, and then Menso-re is just kind of bouncing around like the team captain, not really contributing anything to the action, but good hype guy, I guess. Um, so yeah, there was at one point the team of Kondo and Eita just got annoyed with Menso-re and they just started beating on him in between beating on the opponents. The win here did not matter to either guy, especially by the end of it. So going into the finish here, we saw Taniguchi hit a chokeslam, Kitamiya hit a massive senton, and then Amaska. I never know what it is that Amaska does. He does his things and he's amazing. The commentary wasn't helpful for me on this one, and I did have English commentary. But yeah, Amaska does pick up a win over Black Menso-re. Eita not too happy about this, and actually steals Black Menso-re's mask post match, and then kind of runs off with it. But it was gotten back. I think I saw one of the young guys. I think it was Odashima bringing Menso-re his mask after. So yeah, it was a very interesting opener. Again, I'm interested to see where the attitude with Eita is going because when I did first start watching Noah towards the end of 2024, he's kind of like that happy-go-lucky junior who's kind of like a reluctant hero almost. People really, really like him and he's almost confused about it. But now has embraced it and now is kind of seems to be on that kind of tail end of the, yeah, you do like me. I'm moody and broody. Again, moody broody usually does end up to championships. We see this a lot with someone like Will Ospreay when he gets moody and broody. He starts winning a lot of championships too. So hopefully this means good things for Eita going into his future. So let's move on to the second match of the evening. This was a this was a doozy. This was a fun match, though. This was another six-man tag team match that featured the team of Passionate Retels of HAYATA, Saxon Huxley, and Yuto Kikuchi taking on the interesting team of Super Crazy, KENTA, and Daiki Odashima. I I hesitate to almost call it a hosh-posh tag team, but like it doesn't really seem like an, a combination, a functional combination. I don't know. Let's get into it. So, Hayata and Odashima starting, and they started off with some great high speed junior division stuff. Daiki Odashima just has springs in his feet, the things that he can do, but then he's also deceptively strong for how smaller he appears next to many of his opponents. Hayata is, as I mentioned before, Hayata is Hayata. Hayata can do no wrong for me. He's just a classic, experienced veteran within the junior division. He's good. Odashima applying a submission that to me looks like a bit of a modified Kimura lock with a leg assistance, but Hayata is able to make it to the ropes on that. Super Crazy and Kikuchi in, and this was the crazy spot of the match. Kikuchi is just so powerful with his jumps, with his flips, with his kicks, with his strikes. He's so powerful, so good. And then going against someone as powerful and experienced as Super Crazy, this was an incredible exchange between the two of them. Super Crazy though, really poking the bear, uh, literally with Saxon Huxley on the apron. He really was kind of picking at him quite a bit throughout this match, kind of almost antagonizing him, smacking him when he could, trying to hit him off the apron. He really was kind of, again, poking the bear, and the bear eventually bears. So there's a beautiful arm drag and tilt whirl backbreaker by Super Crazy on Yuto. Kenta in, and he hits Kikuchi with two of those kitchen sink knees. I think they're rising knee, and on the rising knee is a jumping knee. Knee strike? I just call it a kitchen sink because that's what it looks like, and poor Kikuchi paid for it. So Kenta takes a swig of something in a water bottle. The night before, it looked like whiskey. This one was clear, so I don't know if it was vodka or just really diluted whiskey. It didn't look like he was too happy having it in his mouth. He goes to do a Santori surprise on Yuta Kikuchi, but Kikuchi actually covers his mouth. Kenta is forced to swallow. Um, and he's not too happy about it. He's hacking on it again. I think it was probably meant to be something like vodka or something, or maybe sake. I don't know. well, the commentary wasn't too much of a help on me or help for me in that situation. But yeah, he tries to do that. Kikuchi makes him swallow it. Super Crazy is like, hey, I'll get you instead. And Kikuchi actually ducks. And Super Crazy Centauri surprises Kenta. So at this point, Huxley is in, and Huxley is freaking mad. Super Crazy has been really antagonizing him throughout this match, and like almost to the bewilderment of Huxley. It was like it wasn't even discussed. He kind of almost seemed like, what the frick is going on? It wasn't, it was played very well. There was a snake eyes by Huxley on Kenta, followed by a really big headbutt. Hayata gets in and he's squaring off with Kenta, and I was like, this is the match I didn't know I wanted to see that now I need to see. I need to see Hayata and Kenta in a one-on-one match, I think. I need to see that, a new one, a recent one. Anyway, so Hayata in with Kenta, but Kenta is still swinging at the bear on the apron. Huxley really was the fixation in this match. So Hayata with a beautiful atomic drop, followed by a swinging neckbreaker for 2 on Kenta. Huxley on the outside going after Super Crazy. It was absolutely hilarious, and I say hilarious because again, this little hoshbosh team of Daiki Odashima, Super Crazy, and Kenta. It was so funny watching Odashima avoid the car wreck that was Super Crazy and Huxley as they were battling around the corner, just hopping up on the ropes like, nope, not my circus, not dealing with that. So Kenta goes for a GTS, but Hayata is able to wiggle free and then hits Kenta with a step up enziguri. Kenta is able to come back, though, with a really big diving clothesline on him. There was a big shotgun drop kick by Yuto Kikuchi on Odashima, followed by a big double stomp for 2. Huge crossbody by Daiki Odashima for 2 on Kikuchi. He then follows that up with a big drop kick and gets some mad height. Like, think about how high Kazuchika Okada gets his drop kick and how tall he is to get that height. Daiki Odashima is significantly shorter and can get the same height, if not higher. So yeah, very impressive drop kick from him. Super Crazy in with Kikuchi, delivering a really big drop kick and a massive elbow drop for 2. Huxley finally in against Crazy, where Crazy reverses a suplex and continues to taunt Huxley. After a big rebound boot for 2, the other passionate Rattels remove Kenta and Odashima, allowing Huxley to stand alone with Super Crazy, where he hits a double choke sit out power bomb for the win. It's really funny, this match. I felt like there really wasn't a story, much like the first one. There wasn't a story going into it. It was just one of those matches that was on the card, but the guys and the experience of the guys in the ring created a story that ended up being really super funny and super entertaining. Um, I really am loving this combination of passionate Rattels. Huxley with anybody in Rattels just works. He really has been accepted into the fray. Yeah, really, really fun match. So we're gonna go on to number 3. Match number 3 was see if I can get the wording on this properly, because this is a mouthful, you guys. This was a 6-man tag team 3-way match. So there are 3 teams of 3. And what I love about this match, and what I love about these kinds of matches, is that there is always one person from each team in the match at the same time. So there's no kind of weird tag outs that kind of happen, or if you have a team on each corner, you're not tagging out to the wrong team or not your team or whatever. There's always one person from the team in the match. So real quick, let's go through the teams. The first team, you have Naomichi Marufuji and the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf, taking on Team All Rebellion, which is a combination of Kaito Kiyomiya, Ale Alejandro, and Kai Fujimura. And then you also have the Team 2000X with a combination of Daga, Tadasuke, and Owada-san. along with Yoshi Tatsu, who, like, I'm trying to understand the hate. If you guys know, leave a comment down below. I personally, I don't know where Yoshitatsu gets all the hate from. Maybe someone can help me out here. I remember him from his WWE days, but like I don't understand why everyone's so angry to see him. I actually enjoyed him when he was in the WWE, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job as a heel manager for Team 2000X. So I don't know. Is there a reason why we don't like Tatsu, or do we just don't like Tatsu because he's a heel manager? You can leave your answer in the comment down below. So, getting into the match here, there was a fun little spot right before the match kind of got underway where Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf, they kind of did their little high five thing in the corner. Um, Watching Marufuji want to just be a part of the team, but not being quite able to get the second hand clap was absolutely adorable. Um, so yeah, what I mentioned I loved earlier about the match is that one person from each team is in there, and they also have the benefit of coming in without a tag. So, for example, if Daga somehow or for whatever reason was thrown out of the ring, Owada-san or Tadasuke could come in his place without the benefit of a tag. So, let's get into this match. We have Owada-san, Dragonbane, and Kitamiya to start, and Owada-san has become this like brat of a character that I absolutely love. The arrogance that he has, it's so entertaining to watch. So he kind of toys with the two of them, Kitamiya and Dragonbane, and kind of makes them fake doing a drop kick. So he catches the rope. Dragonbane and Kitamiya do the drop kick. Owada-san walks through to taunt the crowd, and Dragonbane and Kitamiya kept up and hit the drop kick anyway. Such precision, so good, so good. So Tadasuke and Fujimura in for some high speed amazingness that is broken up with a synchronized thrust kicks from Daga and Alpha Wolf. Daga with a freaking amazing step up Rana to Alpha Wolf, but Alpha Wolf answers with a massive thrust kick from the corner. I can't even adequately describe the next section that happened in this match except for just lucha, lucha, lucha. I barely know suplex variations. I do not know how to call lucha wrestling. Just know that Daga and Alpha Wolf, so good. Just so good. The synchronicity that they have, insane. Marufuji with a vaulting elbow drop on Alejandro. Team 2000X comes in and runs the train on Marufuji, but then everyone switches out, takes out Team 2000X and runs the train on poor Daga. Fujimura and Alejandro double team Marufuji, first whipping him into the corner and then followed by the tabletop back elbow strike, followed by the synchronized cartwheel drop kicks. Fujimura and Alejandro, they just work so well as a team together. Really good team to have within All Rebellion. So Team 2000X always comes in to break up the fun, but you know, I love Team 2000X a hell of a lot more than I love House of Torture. At least the shenanigans with them is functional. Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf have an incredible exchange with Daga as Dragonbane ducks a strike and like does one of those little hops down to his back essentially and kips back up. It's really cool. While Alpha Wolf hits a thrust kick followed by a jumping knee by Dragonbane. But when they hit the rope, Daga comes back with a double Rana for 2 on both of them. Just so crazy to see the talent that these guys all have. There's one point where Daga monkey flips Alpha Wolf, not just in the ring, but like out of the ring, up over the ropes, out to the outside. Looks like a really nasty crash. Looks really cool though. Beautiful plancha by Dragonbane, followed by synchronized tope con hilos by Alejandro and Kai Fujimura. What have taken to call the circle of pain. It looks like a circle of wishbones by all the various other members who are not involved, while Alpha Wolf and Alejandro kind of fought on the outside. It looked like Alejandro was going for a Rana of some kind. Alpha Wolf catches him and plants him with a power bomb in the middle of the circle, and the circle does break up to try to break up the pin. End of the match comes Awada-san shoves the ref out of the way of Dragonbane, which distracts him enough that Awada-san snatches the mask, and the match ends. Boo! Awada-san, what were you thinking, man? I mean, it is a really quick way to end the match and actually caught the eye of a very, very angry Daiki Odashima, who actually hit the ring post-match to actually kind of rescue Dragonbane, and he was very angry. He was yelling at everybody, but very specifically, he was yelling at Awada-san. It looks like we're finally going to get the showdown. Daiki Odashima taking on Awada-san. I'm excited. This was a fun match. I really enjoyed how these guys all worked together. It was organized, glorious chaos because there was so much going on, but it worked so well. And there was at never any point where I was like, I have no idea what's going on. It all made sense and flowed very, very well. So from here, we're going to move on to match 4, and this is the 20th anniversary match show. I'm so excited. 20th anniversary of Atsushi Kotoge wrestling within professional wrestling. Such an incredible wrestler. He's the flag bearer of Pro Wrestling Noah, coming out with that massive flag, and he's taking on his mentor, Super Delphin. Student versus teacher match. Let's get into it, you guys. This was fun. So, Kotoge actually coming out with Go Shiozaki and Hiroki. That was really, really fun to see Go Shiozaki again. It's been a hot minute since I seen him in any of the Wrestle Universe stuff besides the beginning of the year. Really, really cool to see him out there supporting Kotoge throughout the match. They were at no point in time an issue. This was a very, very clean match. Yeah, they were just there for moral support and hype. So, sportsmanship start. Gotta point that out because it doesn't happen too often. Sportsmanship start. The handshake happens before the bell. Delphin, 57 years old. They kept saying this on commentary, but man, he didn't wrestle like it. Kept up with Kotoge very, very well. Some chain wrestling at the beginning here where Delphin throws Kotoge into the corner, but Kotoge feeds him a big boot, hops into a sit onto the turnbuckle, turns Delphin around, blocks his ankles around his neck, and leans out, applying pressure and choking over the top rope. At first, maybe a tarantula, but that blocks the arms and not the neck. Pretty sure Minoru Suzuki did something very, very similar. I don't remember what they used to call it, but still looked really, really cool. And Kotoge held on to the count of 3, which was merciful considering he has till 5. So huge, huge corner jumping knee from Kotoge, as well as a big drop kick a little bit later. There was like this little, sorry, not a half clutch. It was a camel clutch. Camel clutch by Kotoge, but Delphin is able to make it to the ropes. Delphin ducks a big boot and then hits Kotoge with a Shote palm thrust. He brought these out a number of times throughout the match, and the commentary also mentioned that Kotoge had actually been wrestling in a similar style to Delphin leading up to this match. So, snap suplex by Delphin on Kotoge. I love me a good snap suplex because, man, they're so quick, they're so good, they look so brutal. Kotoge with what they called a Maxim cutter, where he does a little roll up into it before. Super, super nice, super crisp. Big delayed brain buster by Delphin for 2. Another massive palm strike on Kotoge, but he pops up only to eat a second for 2. Delphin hits the Delphin DDT off the turnbuckle, but instead of capitalizing, he looks to try to do something else, but Kotoge actually catches him in a pin for 2. Um, Pump kick by Kotoge, followed by an arm drag that popped up into a knee to the face by Kotoge. Kotoge then hits Delphin with a bridge in German for 2. So, going into the end of the match here, Kotoge gets fired up. He grabs Delphin, hooks him up for the kill switch, and gets a big win over his mentor, 20th anniversary win with the kill switch. And post match, it's so cute. I love how they do this in Japan, where Delphin presented Kotoge with a just adorably and comically huge bouquet of flowers, as well as a matching mask, which Kotoge promptly put on and did wear for a nice little sentimental speech from his mentor. Um, Fun little match. I really enjoyed it. It was really cool to kind of get that student versus the teacher kind of concept. Kotoge has been one of my favorite wrestlers since I started watching. He's just, his skill is so good. This win, on top of the multiple others that he's been kind of gaining this last couple of weeks and months, I can see this leading somewhere positive for Kotoge. So let's move on to match 5. Match 5 is our first title match of the night for the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, and will feature the champions Keno and Ulka Sasaki taking on the passionate duo of Passionate Rattel, Manabu Soya, and Daiki Inaba. This was a passion match. It just, I think that was the one word that was said the most throughout the match. Let's get into it, you guys, because this match was hilarious and fun. So, Keno starts by kicking the heck out of Inaba, but every time he kicked him, it just ignited the passion, and he just used it as a Hulk up situation, which ended up being really funny, because no matter how much Keno hit Inaba, he just, didn't stop. Eventually, Keno was just like, screw this shit. And he got out and tagged in Sasaki. Um, yeah. It was too funny. Anyway, Sasaki and Soya now in trading strikes with each other. And these guys, as commentary let us know, very, very well versed with each other, as I believe Soya was the one who beat Sasaki for the national championship. So these guys are very, very in the know with each other. They know each other well. Their strikes are landing, and man, they are pulling nothing, especially Sasaki. Sasaki also smiling the entire time he's getting hit in the face. I don't know. Typically, that tends to be a little bad. That tends to be a little scary. That being said, though, Sasaki, if you know, you know. He's a fighter. He's not the person you want to be messing with. So Sasaki trying to get Soya into an armbar, but Soya denying him with that strength until Sasaki slyly kind of pulls in and pulls out his foot, pulling him down into the armbar he wanted. Soya and Inaba hitting a passion shake on the ropes, shaking Sasaki like a leaf in the wind. Inaba diving onto Keno on the outside, but Keno able to move and then throws him into the barricade, doing his passionate yell the whole time. I just love it. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ring, Soya and Sasaki are trading strikes and throwing each other into the barricades. Keno then doing his little passion barricade move, where he actually, instead of doing like how the guys do the passion shake with the rope, he did it on the barricade. It was very loud and very noisy. Back in the ring, Sasaki and Inaba began trading strikes, with Sasaki absorbing them and just feeding Inaba one massive one that knocks him right on his butt. Keno immediately in and turns Inaba over into a Boston Crab. A double team, double boots from the Garlic Boys on Inaba for 2. Then a gut strike and a high kick from Inaba, followed by a big suplex on Sasaki. Soya in and he tosses Sasaki in the corner, followed by a running bulldog. And then Soya sets up for a neck breaker, but Keno comes in and gets looped into the DDT as well. So we end up with a neck breaker DDT combo. Just looks so, so good. Keno comes in kick happy, as he does, kicking the crap out of Soya, only to have Soya catch one of his PKs. But Keno is able to wiggle his leg out. Keno then continues to feed kicks to a standing Soya, but then gets a dragon screw leg whip for his troubles. You know, I love a good dragon screw leg whip. Inaba hitting Keno with a spear, like shoulder tackle. It was low, but it looked nasty, and it got some air. Modified Blue Thunder Bomb by Inaba on Keno, followed by a big body splash for 2. There was a Death Valley Bomb by Soya on Sasaki, followed by a wheelbarrow body splash double team by Soya and Inaba for 2. Inaba goes for this little bouncy elbow drop, but Keno avoids and puts Inaba in the Keno special, which is broken up by Soya when he drops Sasaki on him. Keno gets the Keno special again, but Soya again makes a save. Stereo submissions by the Garlic Boys, where the crowd interrupts with chants for Inaba. Inaba is winning the crowd over with his passion. So Keno, massive PK for 2, goes to the top rope for a double stomp, but Inaba moves, hits a sunset flip with the passionate squeeze on the legs, and we have brand new GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I'm so excited. I have been waiting for this for Soya since he lost the national championship, which I didn't think he should have, but we're going to leave that at that. It's good to see him have this, especially after the loss to Ishikawa the night before in the hardcore match. I'm very, very excited. Very, very happy for this. I'm excited to see who their first challengers are, and I'm excited to see who wants to take a shot at the passionate duo. So, from here, we're going to move on to the next match. Match number 6, which was what I was very, 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 very excited for. GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. The champion, hey, yo, hey, taking on the Sunshine Hero, Junta Miyawaki. Oh my God, I was waiting for this, and it did not disappoint. 2 huge crowd favorites in both Yohei, the flying playboy. You can always hear people cheering for him. And then the Sunshine Hero. He has become a huge crowd favorite with the little ones, always going out there to give an armband away. When he had the title, he was always going out to take pictures with the kids. Let's get into it, you guys. This is so much fun. Okay, so just an overview. Yohei's kind of wrestling heel in this one. He was doing some not nicey things that, the Rattels are kind of like that line walker of factions, but they do tend to stay more on the facier side than the heelish side. It was interesting to see Yohei working a little heely, and it's still working to keep him face. It was interesting. Anyway, let's get into the match, you guys. There were some fun junior sequences to start off in the beginning here. Typical reversals, arm drags, shadowing each other's moves, reversing everything. Lots of high speed, lots of fun. A great head scissors by Yohei. Very, very stiff, very authoritative. Yohei tosses Miyawaki to the outside and hits him with a massive tope con hilo, followed by a hilarious taunt to the crowd, where he hops up on the barricade and is like, yeah! Very dramatic in this match. Back in the ring, Miyawaki sends Yohei into the corner, but he dodges out of the way and feeds Miyawaki a solid and dominant thrust kick. Hey, Yohei. Why you gotta be so rude? Oh, anyway. Yohei put some kind of, from before there. Yohei follows up the thrust kick with a tree of woe drop kick to Junta Miyawaki, and of course is playing up the crowd, taunting him the whole way, doing Miyawaki's little salute. It was very interesting to watch. Yohei putting on, I didn't know what kind of clutch it was, but he put on some kind of clutch move where it almost looked like a camel clutch, but only half. He had an arm over one knee, but that knee was dropped and locked around the arm, and then he still had the clutch around the neck. Wasn't quite sure what to call it, but it looked really, really neat. Yohei fed some really nasty chops to Miyawaki, but then Miyawaki hits what I call a flatliner DDT for 2. Miyawaki with a released German, but Yohei lands on his feet. He then avoids Miyawaki, sending him to the second rope, and then Yohei hitting Miyawaki in the back of the head with the double knees, that Kamanji, and then a twist of fate for 2. So on the apron, Yohei hits a massive thrust kick to Miyawaki, but then Miyawaki jumps off of Yohei into the ring, hits the ropes, jumps off the second rope, and hits Yohei with a jumping arm drag to the outside. And because that wasn't enough, he goes back into the rings and hits a corkscrew body splash, just for good measure. Because why not? These guys are insane. Back in the ring, Miyawaki hits a bridge and German suplex for 2, and then goes for the sunshine driver, but Yohei is able to wiggle out. Massive avalanche falcon arrow by Miyawaki, but somehow Yohei is able to kick out of that. I saw that and I was like, oh, new champ. Not the case. Not the case yet. So it looks like Miyawaki is trying to set up for a super sunshine driver off the top turnbuckle there, but Yohei manages to push him off. Massive, massive Kamanji from the champion for 1. Sunshine Schoolboy by Miyawaki for 2, and that got me because I saw the Schoolboy roll up, and I'm like, no, he got him last time with that. No. But he is able to kick out, thank goodness. The crowd, by the way, at this point is absolutely lit, losing their absolute minds, which is not always something you hear in Japan. Usually they're pretty reserved. The crowd was on fire for this match. So, super Gamanji by Yohei. And Yohei, hey Yohei, retains his championship over Junta Miyawaki. This match was off the chain, you guys. If you like that junior division, you like that high speed kind of match, this is the absolute match for you. It was so good and showed off the talent that both of these men have. Post match, Yohei finally gets the microphone, starts chatting, and a very interesting and familiar face comes out, and much to my delight, Atsushi Kotoge enters the ring, still wearing his Super Dolphin mask from earlier, and issues the challenge to Yohei. So we will see June 21st in Osaka. Yohei versus Atsushi Kotoge. I am so excited. I need this match. It's going to be a great combination of styles where Kotoge wrestles a more technical power kind of style, and then you have the kind of lucha infusion of Yohei. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. So you guys, as if that wasn't enough, we are going into the main event, which I think I have as many notes for this main event as I do for the rest of the show. So I'm going to cherry pick as much as I can with the important information here, because this match was the absolute definition of glorious, glorious chaos. So let's get into it. main event of the evening, match number 7, GHC Heavyweight Championship 3-way match with the champion OZAWA defending against Takashi, Sugiura, and Tetsuya Endo. Now, if you don't know the story going into this, Tetsuya Endo joined Noah, I want to say in like November, December. I could be wrong about that, but I did start seeing him more regularly in December and January. So, Tetsuya Endo joins Pro Wrestling Noah. He was a good guy. He was a face for a while. And then the call of the dark side got to him, and he joined Team 2000X. And he was with them until Sugiura convinced him to not be there anymore. And he is now a good guy again. So, that is the backstory going in. Sugiura and Endo are essentially going into this planning to tag team the champion. And let's get into it, you guys. Let's talk about how this glorious chaos happened. So, first, OZAWA, he's trying to start with a deep squat lockup, where he just goes pretty much like right down to the ground, reaching up to try to lock in. He's being very goofy in this. And if you guys haven't heard me describe this before, when I describe OZAWA, I typically describe him as, like, visually, aesthetically speaking, he looks like billionaire Bruce Wayne. He's always playing up, like, how he looks. He wears the nice clothes. He wears the bling, the nice sunglasses when he comes out. But he's, like, the personality of the Joker. He's just chaotic and goofy, but that chaotic goofiness is usually painful for anyone else other than him and his team. So, Ozawa slides out of the ring, doing what Ozawa does, avoiding the conflict and looking to capitalize later. So he slides out, leaving Sugiura and Endo to tie up. And when they do, he comes back in and he's kind of like acting like a ref, just watching what they're doing intently. It was very, very funny. While he's doing this, though, this results in a double team where Endo and Sugiura both be like, no. And they both put him in arm wrenches, each grabbing an arm and just twisting until Ozawa escapes. This time Ozawa escapes and goes into the audience because ringside wasn't far enough. Endo and Sugiura exchange big boots, both without going down, and they do this a few times until Endo does finally fall to Sugiura, at which point Ozawa runs in and pins Endo. And this became the thing for a little bit. Ozawa with a Rana on Sugiura, followed by some breakdancing, which Sugiura interrupts, and the crowd wasn't as mad about it being interrupted this time as they were the show before. But we do get the breakdancing. Don't worry, we'll get to it. So Ozawa feeding both Endo and Sugiura really, really solid arm drags, and this is where, at one point, Ozawa yeets Endo, and the noise that came out of his face was something very similar, like "Bleh." It was really funny. I had to pause it and rewatch it to get a giggle. Anyway, Ozawa finally breakdancing and the flares. I absolutely love it. This is the champion we have. Is it the guy who's just doing all this ridiculous stuff, but it's so good and it is so entertaining. I love watching it. A flying forearm by Endo on Sugiura, but Ozawa runs in to pin while his back was turned. Ozawa with a spinning gut kick, a straight gut kick, and then a tornado high kick to Endo. Massive spear by Sugiura on Ozawa. Sugiura grabs Ozawa to set him up in a Boston Crab, and Endo does a backflip into the Ozawa Tranquilo Taunt, proceeds to pick his own nose and wipe it on Ozawa's head. And if that isn't turnabout, I don't know what is. at that point, Sugiura turns him over into the Boston Crab, and this is something interesting that I've never thought of, but it should be more of a thing. As Sugiura puts Ozawa in the Boston Crab, Endo comes up behind him and stands behind him with his hands on his shoulders. When Ozawa pushes up to try to crawl to the ropes, Endo notices and pushes Sugiura's shoulders down for extra pressure and leverage to allow or not allow Ozawa to actually crawl. I don't know why that hasn't been thought of before, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Anyway, moving on from there, Endo able to flip through Sugiura's released German, but not the lariat that was fed to him immediately after. Sugiura pinning Enzo, but Ozawa coming in with a mid kick. This actually causes Endo, the way they fall, to be actually technically pinning Sugiura with his feet over his shoulders, and then he actually gets up, like crunches up, grabs Ozawa in a double underhook, and puts him in an underhook suplex pin while he's also pinning Sugiura with his feet. Double pin. Could you guys imagine if Tetsuya Endo was able to actually pin both those guys and win the championship like that? That would have been incredible. Anyway, Endo hits both Ozawa and Sugiura with sunset flips into a pin for 2 on Sugiura. Ozawa breaking a pin attempt with a big body splash. Ouchies. Endo hits his handspring, but ends up in a German suplex from Sugiura for his problems. Sugiura really laying into Endo with the strikes and a running knee, and I would not expect any less from these two. Both of these men know each other so well. I expect high impact when I see these two wrestle. So, Sugiura with a delayed avalanche brainbuster, but Ozawa comes in, puts Sugiura on top of Endo, and then sits on top of Sugiura to be pinning both of them as well. But Endo is able to kick out even with a downed Sugiura on top of him. So this is where chaos really starts to take over in the rest of this match. So the ref gets knocked down, and Team 2000X is in the ring before he's even hit the ground. Beating on Endo. But when Sugiura tries to get involved, Team 2000X really does seem to stand down. They're a little intimidated, a little scared of him. Tadasuke is left in the ring with him and a chair. When he's about to hit Sugiura with the chair, Sugiura takes a chair. And Tadasuke is terrified that he is now going to be hit by the man who has a reputation for being very, 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 very rough. He's afraid. He's afraid. And instead, Sugiura turns around and hits Tetsuya Endo on the head with the chair, gives back the chair to Tadasuke, and then proceeds to put on a Team 2000X shirt. Now, I knew that the betrayal was happening because of social media, but seeing it in live and in person, I was like, that was a great setup. A great setup. Sugiura convinced Endo to leave the team just so he could take his place. Brilliant. Brilliant. So, Ozawa and Sugiura proceed to beat the piss out of Endo before Ozawa attempts a pin for 2. There's an exploder by Endo on Sugiura, who then pushes Ozawa out of the ring, rolls up Sugiura, and eliminates him. Now, something I forgot to mention at the beginning of this is this 3-way is actually an elimination style 3-way match. So you eliminate until there's only one standing. Sugiura was the first eliminated and was required to leave um, leave the ring. Did. But yeah, unfortunately, Sugiura does get eliminated, hypothetically, and it leaves now Tetsuya Endo and Ozawa to battle it out for the championship. So there's a John Woo kick by Ozawa for 2, standing Spanish fly by Endo, which he calls Tetsuya in the sky. For 2, Ozawa goes to do his patented lick on the side of the face. Endo grabbing the tongue and then feeding him a tongue exploder. That's what I think it was anyway, but it was an exploder. He was holding the tongue. We'll go with the tongue exploder because I don't know how to spell blah, 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 blah. But yeah, yeets him over there for 2. The godly knee in the corner, which is the big jumping knee by Endo in the corner. He goes for a pin, but the ref gets pulled out by Sugiura on the outside. The fight then goes to the outside, and you can see one of the young bloods, the young guys, desperately trying to cover the ref, who is still very much down and out on the ringside there. Endo answering the beating by being tossed back in the ring and hitting all of Team 2000X with the Endo special, which is that cartwheel corkscrew plancha to the outside. Back in the ring, Endo lands a spinning torture rack bomb, but the second ref arrives just a little bit too late, and Ozawa is able to kick out. Shooting star press by Endo to the knees of Ozawa. Ozawa gets his knees up, but Endo is able to still hit a big inside-out lariat after recovering for 2. So going into the end of this match, though, some more interference from Team 2000X. Ozawa, with his patented lick on the face, hits Endo with a dropkick, gut-wrench shoulder bomb for 2. The crowd is absolutely lit. Ozawa signals with the X. He goes to the top. The real rebel, which is the Phoenix Splash, or the Sky Sparkle, as I like to call it. And Ozawa retains his championship over both Takashi Sugiura and Tetsuya Endo. This was a fun match. Despite knowing about the betrayal, despite all of this, I'm actually really excited to see how Team 2000X is growing and shuffling around managers and people. I personally was really disappointed seeing Endo leave Team 2000X because I really liked the attitude that he was having while being in there. But you could really see how comfortable he's becoming in Pro Wrestling Noah and working with everybody. So I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm gonna have to be okay with it. I mean, the little shorts are still there, so the biggest thing has not left. So afterwards, Ozawa, talks to the crowd a little bit, and then lets them know that Sugiura's new moniker within Team 2000X, which I'm loving these little extra names. He is the Godfather, Takashi Sugiura. Yeah, that is the end of the show, guys. That is the end of Sunny Voyage. Did you guys get a chance to watch it? What did you guys think? What did we think about Tetsuya Endo? And then Takashi Sugiura, the betrayal of the mentor to the student. Did Sugiura just do this just to take Endo's spot? They could have worked together. Could have been another tag team. I didn't see the betrayal coming, but I don't mind it. I'm not mad about it. I think it's a really good angle, and as someone who just loves stories in professional wrestling and is missing them from North American style wrestling, I appreciate that they're doing so much detail. And it's to a point, if you miss a show, you are missing a lot of detail. It really creates for me as a fan, a sense of urgency to keep up with the shows and make sure I'm watching the socials and on the know of what's going on with all of the information. So this takes us, guys, to the end of our show. If you are interested in watching some Pro Wrestling Noah, I will leave links in the description box below. You can check out Wrestle Universe, where it is about 13-ish Canadian. You get access to 8 different companies, including Pro Wrestling Noah, as well as DDT, as well as Marigold, Tokyo Joshi Pro, and like that's where Maki Ito, Miyu Yamashita is. You guys definitely want to check that out. If you are in Japan or if you are in the US and have access to a VPN, you can also get even more Noah shows through Abima. You just have to check out all the information through there. Unfortunately, I'm Canadian. I don't get it here. Boo. In the meantime, you can find me on all my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and did I say Instagram, TikTok? Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Facebook, Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can catch me on the X thing at Collins Melball. And also don't forget to follow all of our local establishments' socials that are going to also be linked in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and comment down below. Again, what did you guys think about Sugiura betraying Tetsuya Endo to join Team 2000X? Did you see it coming? Are you happy that it happened? Do you think that this could be a feud for them going forward? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. So, again, don't forget to subscribe to OLE to get all of your knowledge on professional wrestling, makeup, movies, music, drag shows. You cannot miss Auntie Collins and Jose on Fridays. Those two are hysterical. You got Point of View on Sundays, you got Marvel Talk on Wednesdays. We got a little bit of everything for you guys. But with that all being said, I am your Mel. Matane!